Hey, what's going on, my friend? NT Izuchi here, your internet marketing coach and mentor. Welcome back to the classroom. Really excited to see you back. And briefly in this video, we're going to be going over how to track your internet marketing goals and objectives, okay? Really tracking kind of the background information when it comes to leading up to sales. Now, a lot of newbies to internet marketing, even people who are intermediate, maybe been online for half a year, maybe even two, they still have this idea that, making money online, it's like sale or no sale. Well, no, that's not how it goes. There are some things that are going on, or metrics that are going on in the background, okay, that will help gauge, okay, how well you're doing in terms of your website, in terms of your email marketing, in terms of your targeting keywords, things like that. And that's what we're going to be going over in this video. So just to get started, because I am covering a lot, but I guarantee you stay with me, don't go anywhere. You stay with me to the end of this video, you're going to get a ton of value, okay? And there's more, value to come even after this video. But let's just get started. Let's look at some analytics. Okay, some analytics that help predict, okay, to help us kind of predict the future. Now, this isn't a some type of exercise to make you a a psychic, but we can really start to predict what the outcome of some of the things that we're doing. It's kind of like I'm a Christian guy, right? Believe in Jesus Christ, but I'm human, so I'm about 99.99999% sure that Jesus Christ walked the earth and that he is, coming back to save us all from doom and destruction, right? But that's all based on a lot of facts and fiction, right? Leading up to, today, right? Similar to like internet marketing, there's a lot of input and output, right? We can only do certain practices, okay, that we can predict will have the outcome that we want, right? That's all we can really do, right? So when we look at things like just something like choosing keywords, right? So let's look at keyword research, right? Keyword research. Now, when you're doing keyword research and you're actually going after these keyword phrases and keywords, right? We can't guarantee that we're going to end up on the first page of Google. Nothing can do that. It's all based on faith. It's all based off facts and figures, right? So we can look, when we're doing keyword research, there are tools out there that will help us find out what is trending, okay? Things that are really trending and what's going on right now, and like what's really relevant, what's trending and what's relevant, right? By using things like Google, Google Trends, right? Google Trends, right? It really gets in there and it lets you know, is your keyword phrase that you're going after a keyword, is it relevant right now? Is it on the rise right now? It also tells you other suggested searches, right? Other suggested searches. So you could be thinking like, hey, I want to go after this keyword, right? Searches, make that an S. I want to go after this keyword, but Google Trends is telling me, hey, this keyword phrase that is relevant to your keyword phrase is actually on the rise. And it actually gives you other things like the percent, and also gives you percent increase in search, right? So the particular keyword phrase over the last month has been increasing in search, right? Google Trends, it tells you that, right? So now it gives you kind of a gauge, like, okay, what's trending right now? What's relevant right now? And you may want to go from your keyword phrase that you were looking at before, now to this one that is now suggested, right? And Google Trends allows you to do that, which is really, really cool, right? Another thing that we can look at that helps us predict is the search volume, right? The search volume, right? So if we're going after words that is getting, doesn't matter, 100 searches a month, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, right? We can kind of start seeing, okay, wow, well, if I can get on the first page, or if my video can be on the first page of YouTube, this is the amount of traffic I can kind of get from this, right? I can grab some of that traffic, and so much to the point where if your content is really, really good, you can get most of that traffic. And it depends on how well you are ranked and things like that. But again, these are all practice, things that you have to keep doing over and over and over again. And it's fun, because here's the thing, it doesn't take much to do keyword research. For my blog post for the week, it takes me 5 minutes to really choose the keywords that I want to go for the week, right? And I just use these type of tools, right? And they do this to get the suggested searches. For suggested searches, it's Google Trends, right? But look at, search volume and things like competition, right? I look at Google Keyword Planner, Now for search, or now for competition, the competition, you know, numbers that you look at, that you see in the Google Keyword Planner, right, is really for paid, right? That's not a really good gauge as to the free marketing. That stuff is all AdWords. So if you're like looking at Google Keyword Planning, you're like, oh man, it's so competitive, I shouldn't be going after this keyword in my blog post or my video. You're dead wrong. Do it. Create the content, one that just creates depth within your website, and it just adds to your knowledge base. Don't not go after a keyword phrase because you're scared of not getting on the first page of Google. Don't worry about that, okay? Create the content because someone will find your piece of content. I'm going to show you how that's going to happen, right? Now, from this stuff, right? These prediction gauges, like prediction gauges, you can start doing things like knocking down or really deciding, okay, or going after, you know, the number of leads, right? The number of leads you want all this information collectively to generate you. Number of leads, you know, per month or even week, right? Now you can start saying, well, this is getting this many searches. I have these keywords that are typically getting this many searches per month. You know, I have my videos up in YouTube and all these different places. I have my blog posts up in the search engines, and they're all over the place, and I'm sharing it to social media. This stuff is really relevant because people are actually searching for it, and I'm sharing it to relevant places on social media. I can probably generate, you know, 5 quality leads a week, 10 quality leads a week, 20 quality leads per week. As a matter of fact, right now for my own personal coaching program, I'm at about 20 to 25 solid leads per week coming through my content. Not a solo ad, right? People are finding me organically through search, through YouTube, through, well, that's search as well, social media, and then opting into my list. I would not trade in 25 per week for 300, okay, through, or 400 through a solo ad, because those people are just used to just clicking into stuff, right? And it's the truth, right? You can also start looking at where, where these leads are coming from, right? Right? On your back end, okay, with these autoresponder services, you can go in there and see, okay, where did this lead from? Did it come from my website? Did it come from YouTube? Did it come from somewhere on my blog? Any of those, you know what I mean? And you can actually see in your back office, okay, using some of these tools, I'm going to let you know in just a little bit exactly where a lot of my traffic is coming from, okay? And you can also start to gauge, you know, the number of pieces of content you create per week, right? Now I know, okay, well, if I'm getting 20 to 25 leads per week and I'm creating, you know, three or, you know, a good solid 3 blog posts per week, I'm pretty good. If you want to ramp it up, that's fine, but just don't just create content to create content. Create content that is genuine, that actually helps, okay? There's no point of creating content that is just fluff. There's really no point of that, okay? So those are some things that you can start looking at when it comes to using analytics and, you know, kind of crunching those numbers to see how you can start predicting some of these outcomes, like the number of leads you want to generate per week or per month, or, you know, where these leads are coming from, right? The number of pieces of content that you should be producing per week, right, to maintain this constant lead flow, all right? I know I'm kind of covering a lot here, but just realize that this stuff is not difficult, okay? Just because you see a, you know, board full of words and green and stuff, this is just stuff that I know works, okay? And again, if you're brand new to this stuff, just delve into this stuff, okay? We all have to do it. It's all have to do it. And if you really want to make money consistently online, you're going to have to know some of this stuff, right? So let's look at analytics, okay? That gauge performance. Okay, analytics that gauge performance, right? And when I'm talking about performance, let's start with email marketing, right? Let's gauge how we are doing in terms of email, right? Now, email is probably where you're gonna have most of your conversions online, right? People who are on your email list, you're continuously feeding them information about you, your product, your service, how you are as an individual, things like that, continuously educating them, right? And so, let's say, for example, email marketing. How can you ever really gauge how your email marketing is doing if you're not doing it consistently, right? So you and I right now, right? You and I watching right now, we're gonna make a promise to each other that we are going to be emailing our list 3 to 4 times per week, right? At least from here, now you have 3 to 4 different stages where or opportunities during the week to see how well your email is doing, right? Now from this, you can start looking at things like your open rates, right? Your open rates. Are you getting a 10% open rate? Are you getting a 20% open rate, 30%, 40%? If you get that high, please let me know what you're doing, okay? Because that's really good, okay? But you can start looking at your open rates. And I don't care if you have 5 people on your list or 50 people on your list, okay? Or 500 people on your list, okay? Open rates are extremely important, right? Because you're sending out an email. If no one's opening them, it's just like you got to change something, right? You absolutely have to change something, right? But looking at your open rates, okay? That's going to be really, really important, okay? What do you need to change in your email headlines, right? Because that's the only thing that gets people to open your emails is your headline, right? Or your title, or whatever it is that they're seeing in their email inbox. You can play around with some of these things to really start to get people to open your emails, right? Period, right? The next is the click-through rates, right? Or CTR, right? Click-through rate. When people are opening your email, are people actually clicking to the link? All right, opening is one thing. Clicking to a link is a completely other thing. All right, now when you're looking at these metrics, you can look at, okay, well, my click-through rate before, and this is all stuff you can see in your back office of your autoresponder, okay? Now, did I get, a 30% click-through rate? Did I get a 10% click-through rate? I have these different rates. Now, why was this one more successful than this one? You can go back to that email and be like, well, this one I had an image in there. I started off with a question. I told a story or something like that. This one was a little bit less, little bit less intensive. It was kind of just, bland, kind of, you can really start seeing what's the difference between these two. And these numbers and these things that you are looking at within your email can help set guidelines, okay? These help set guidelines. Okay, guidelines for you to follow every time when you are creating a piece of content, period, right? Now let's look at some analytics for performance in terms of your website, right? In terms of your website, right? It's not just about having a website. Especially if you have WordPress, you go to the, in your back office, your dashboard, you can see a lot of different things. Like your new visitor to or versus returning visitors, right? You can look at the ratio. Now, my particular ratio roughly is about 60% new versus 40% returning. That's really, really good. So out of all the people who are visiting my website, 60% of those people are new. That's telling me that my content is getting out there, right? My content is getting in the search engines. My content is being found through video. My content is being found through PDFs that I create of all my blog posts. My, my content is being shared throughout social media, right? So that's giving you that gauge, looking at numbers like this. You want to get new people back to your website. You want to have people returning to your website. So 60-40 is really, really good, okay? And there's different ways that you can learn to do it. It's really going to come down to you creating your content and then sharing your content. Not spamming your content, but getting it out there and allowing other people who find it useful to share it, period. All right? So one of the other things that you kind of look at is lowering your bounce rate, right? Lowering bounce rate. I'm going to say BR. And you can find this actually in some of the tools back there, right? You can use something called StatPress V. Okay, let me just put this right here. StatPress V. You can use Jetpack or Google Analytics. I'm going to put, I said Google Anal. That would have been bad. Funny joke. But StatPress V is really, really good for getting on your website in your actual back office of your WordPress site and getting a really pretty good snapshot of what's going on. Jetpack isn't as intensive. It's kind of like what's going on right now, who's on my website, what are they looking at, how many visitors did I get today. But Google Analytics gives you the whole shebang, and it's free. Okay, and really, really simple to use in the back office. Okay, so lowering your bounce rate. Now, a bounce is basically anytime it comes to your website, right, once and they leave your page and they leave your website. They go to one blog post and they leave. They go to your home page and they leave. Right. You want to lower that, and you also want to increase. Right. You want to increase time on site. Right. And page sessions per visit. So time on site is pretty self-explanatory. How much time are people spending on your website? Are they spending 1 minute in leaving? Are they spending 5 minutes in leaving? Mine is right around 5 minutes. That's actually like 4 minutes and 56 seconds last time I checked, actually earlier today, right? And the page sessions per visit. How many pages are they visiting every time they visit your website? Mine is around 4, right? So every time someone comes to my website, they're looking at 4 or 5 or more or less blog posts, but on average 4. That's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. They're looking at 4 or so pages on my website, right? And it becomes down to 2 things, right? If you want to do these 2 things, increase time on website and increase your page visits, page sessions per visit. 2 things you got to focus on, right? And before we wrap up, right, is great content. Because the only reason why someone's going to go to the next one is because the last one that they saw was really, really useful. And 2, linking, contextual linking. Now listen, when I say contextual, it's not anything technical. It's just linking. Say someone's on one blog post. Somewhere in that blog post, you need to have links to other blog posts that are relevant to that particular blog post. Why? Because it's like if you're on one particular blog post and there's a lot of value there, you got a nice video, and someone wants to end up learning more, they're like, wow, I'm actually learning. If you have links in there linking to other blog posts that are relevant, well, then people are going to start clicking. That's how you start increasing the time on site and the page per visit. It's not, there's no magic button or software that's going to do that for you. It's, as a matter of fact, you can actually do it for free. Create good content and then link to other posts that you've created that are really, really useful. Very, very simple stuff here, folks, okay? And this is stuff you should just know for free. I know people are going to charge you arm and a leg for it, but you know what? I don't want to do that because this is stuff that's just going to get you up and running. Right now, of course, this is not everything you need to know online, right? And as a matter of fact, let's start with a free video training series, okay, that I put together that only encompass this, but encompass a lot of other aspects and ideas in this whole internet marketing kind of mix that I cannot fit on this one video, okay? So without further ado, if you got some value from this, I guarantee you will get 10 times more value from this free video training series that I literally just put together and that people are really, really talking about and actually really, really loving, okay? I want to get your hands on that. Anyway, to the right side of this video, okay, without further ado, is going to be a nice little subscription box. Put your name and your email. I'm going to send that off to you, right? Or on the right-hand side, there's going to be a nice little box that says get the free series. By all means, go ahead, click that. Get your hands on that free video training series because I'm telling you, you like this information. The information that I'm going to share with you in just a little bit is going to absolutely blow you away. Okay, so without further ado, go ahead, get your hands on that free video training series, and I will personally walk you through that process, and I look forward to seeing you in the training center, my friend. Take it easy, and I'll see you in just a little bit.